He laughed when I said understood. He stopped laughing when the movers showed up. My name is Audrey B. Sands. I'm 33 years old, a systems analyst for a healthcare software company, and I live by structure. I prefer clean calendars, predictable outcomes, and calm evenings. Chaos is not my aesthetic. Instability is not romantic to me. Nathan Cole was 30. We'd been together 2.5 years, living together for 14 months in a 2-bedroom downtown apartment. Month-to-month lease. His idea. He liked flexibility. I liked stability, but I compromised. I paid more. Rent, utilities, internet, groceries most months. It made sense at the time because I earned more. It was mutual. Agreed. Clear. Until it wasn't. Nathan's younger sister Caitlin, 26, permanently between jobs and life plans, had stayed with us before. Temporary in Caitlin's vocabulary meant indefinite until someone pushed back. 3 weeks ago, Nathan came home glowing. Too glowing. He dropped his bag, kicked off his shoes, and said, "I have exciting news." My stomach tightened instantly. "She's moving in." No discussion, no question. A statement. "Caitlin needs support. It just makes sense. And since you already cover most expenses, you can handle the increase." Just like that. I asked when this had been decided. "It doesn't need a big discussion," he said casually. "She's family." Then he added the sentence that ended everything. "If you don't like it, you can move out." No hesitation, no softness, just challenge. I studied his face. He wasn't bluffing. He expected me to cave. I said one word. Understood. He laughed. Actually laughed, like he'd just won something. He had no idea what he'd just lost. I didn't argue. When someone hands you an ultimatum that cleanly, the most powerful response isn't screaming. It's agreement. I went into the bedroom, closed the door quietly, sat on the edge of the bed, and removed emotion from the equation. The lease was month to month, 30-day notice. That detail mattered more than love ever could. I pulled up the lease agreement, confirmed it, then opened my laptop and created a checklist. Notify property manager, schedule movers, transfer utilities, remove name from lease, change direct deposit address, update subscriptions, secure storage if needed. When you strip feelings away, logistics become easy. An hour later, he walked in without knocking. "Done sulking?" he asked. He told me Caitlin would arrive in 2 weeks, that I needed to clear my office because the second bedroom would be hers. I looked at him calmly. "I already gave notice." He blinked. "Notice for what?" "The apartment. I'll be out before she gets here." Silence. "You can't just do that," he said. "You told me to." "That's not what I meant." But it was what he said, and I take words seriously. That's when the confidence cracked for the first time. The next few days were surreal. Nathan talked about paint colors Caitlin might like, complained the apartment would feel cramped with 3 people, called it adult sacrifice. He asked me to help move Caitlin's boxes. I scheduled lease termination instead, sent written notice that same night, confirmed removal of my name from everything, forwarded the confirmation to my personal email, archived it. Procedure, not drama. Nathan noticed the boxes when I started packing. Clothes first, desk setup, kitchen items I purchased. I didn't take shared items unless I had receipts. He laughed again. "You're being petty. You'll cool off." He said Caitlin had nowhere else to go. Said it would be heartless to abandon them over money. "It's not about money," I told him. "It's about being told how my home and income will be used without my consent." He rolled his eyes. "You're overthinking it. Just be supportive." Supportive. Interesting word for financial compliance. That night, he sent Caitlin our address, told her to start bringing things early. He still believed I was bluffing, so I booked movers, paid the deposit, scheduled the date, and stopped talking about it entirely. The first utility transfer email hit his inbox 3 days later. That's when the panic began. Not loudly, quietly, in small cracks. "Are you serious about removing your name?" "Yes." You already talked to management? Yes. When exactly are you leaving? I gave him the date. His tone sharpened. You blindsided me. I reminded him I tried to talk. He told me to move out. That wasn't literal. He never apologized for saying it, only for me believing it. Caitlin started moving in early. Boxes stacked in the living room. A mattress leaned against the wall. She nodded at me like I was the guest. I stopped using common areas. Nathan said I was making things awkward. No, I was disengaging. The night Caitlin officially stayed over, Nathan tried finances. Rent will be tight without you. My finances aren't part of this anymore. He stared like I'd spoken a foreign language. That night he cried. Not because he missed me, because the math was real. The next morning, anger returned. You're choosing money over love. No, I was choosing respect over control. The movers arrived on a Tuesday morning. He still thought it was a bluff, until strangers began disassembling furniture. The first box rolled toward the door. His face changed. Can we talk? We stepped into the bedroom. I didn't think you'd actually leave, he said softly. I thought you loved me enough to adjust. Love doesn't mean surrendering agency, I said. He said relationships require sacrifice. Funny, mine always required it. His never did. Then he pivoted. Caitlin could move out later. We can reset. Pause this. I asked one question. Why did those options only appear once I was leaving? He had no answer. When I walked back out, Caitlin sat on the couch scrolling while movers worked around her. That image sealed everything. As the last box was loaded, Nathan followed me outside. You're really ending this over my sister? No, I said. You ended it when you made my housing conditional. I got in my car. My phone buzzed instantly. I didn't think you'd actually do it. That sentence explained everything. He thought my boundaries were decorative. The first night away, my phone exploded. Anger, accusations, claims of betrayal. Then practical questions. Are utilities transferred? Is your name really off the lease? Can you cover one more month? No apology. Not once. Just requests. I replied once. My obligations ended when I moved out. Then silence. Calls stacked. I didn't answer. 2 days later, he showed up at my new place, crying in the hallway. I made a mistake. I'm sorry you're struggling, I told him through the door, but I'm not coming back. Panic doesn't undo disrespect. Within a week, everything unraveled. Nathan sent screenshots of bills, rent overdue, utilities climbing, Caitlin not contributing. She's stressed. Of course she was. He said he felt trapped. Interesting. He loved flexibility when I was absorbing consequences. Now it felt like a cage. He asked me to talk to Caitlin, motivate her. I reminded him I was never her parent, provider, or buffer. He said he felt abandoned. I said he felt consequences. Then came the quiet collapse. 48 hours of silence. Then the property manager called me. Nathan had asked if my name could be temporarily re-added to the lease. I laughed. Absolutely not. 10 minutes later, Nathan called, straight to bargaining. Just temporary, until Caitlin gets a job. Temporary, the word that started this. What am I supposed to do? He asked. The same thing you told me, I said. Figure it out. Silence. Heavy. Final. A mutual friend later told me Nathan admitted he never thought I would leave. He believed threatening my housing would scare me into compliance. He thought I'd panic, beg, adjust. Instead, I accepted. That's what shattered him. Not anger, not revenge. Acceptance. By the end of that month, he was considering breaking the lease himself. Caitlin still had no job. The apartment felt too expensive without me. Responsibility landed exactly where it belonged. People ask if I feel bad. Number. Nathan didn't lose me when I packed my boxes. He lost me when he decided my stability was leverage. When he said, "If you don't like it, move out." He believed he had power. What he had was assumption. He assumed I would stay, pay, adapt, absorb. He mistook my calm for compliance. He mistook love for submission. The revenge wasn't loud. It wasn't dramatic. It was quiet. It was procedural. It was a 30-day notice. It was transferring utilities. It was watching the panic set in when the safety net disappeared. He told me to move out, so I did. And that's the part he'll never recover from. He thought losing me would hurt. He had no idea what losing my stability would cost him. The silence after that last phone call lasted almost a week. No missed calls, no late-night paragraphs, no screenshots of unpaid bills. Just quiet. And for the first time in months, I could hear myself think. I rebuilt fast. That's what happens when you leave before resentment rots you from the inside. My new place was smaller, but it was mine. My utilities were predictable. My groceries lasted all week. No mystery charges. No extra mouths. No tension in the living room. Peace is underrated until you lose it. Then one afternoon, I got the message I knew was coming. Nathan was breaking the lease. He couldn't afford it. Caitlin still hadn't found a job. The rent increase after penalties hit harder than he expected. Utilities stacked up. Late fees snowballed. Flexibility suddenly wasn't so freeing. Apparently, Caitlin had told him she thought I was overreacting, that I should have just supported family, that relationships require compromise. Compromise. Interesting word when only one person is bending. I found out through a mutual friend that their arguments had become constant. Nathan wanted her to contribute. She said she was trying. He pushed harder. She started spending more time out of the apartment. The dynamic shifted quickly. When you remove the responsible one from the equation, reality accelerates. 2 weeks after he broke the lease, he called again. I almost didn't answer, but I did. His voice sounded different, smaller, not angry, not bargaining, just tired. Caitlin moved out, he said. Of course she did. She found another couch, another temporary landing pad, another person willing to absorb her instability. And Nathan? He was left holding the mess he created. He admitted something then that he'd never said before. I thought you'd always stay. There it was, the truth. Not love, not partnership, not respect. Security. He loved the version of me that absorbed impact, the one who covered the bills, smoothed the conflicts, made his impulsive decisions survivable. He didn't expect me to remove myself from the equation. He didn't expect consequences to land squarely on him. I didn't think you'd choose leaving over fixing it, he said. I answered calmly. I didn't leave to hurt you. I left because you showed me what staying would cost. There was a long pause. Do you ever regret it? He asked. And I meant it when I said no. Because regret only comes when you betray yourself. I didn't scream. I didn't sabotage. I didn't ruin his life. I listened. That was the revenge. He handed me an ultimatum, expecting fear. I handed him compliance. He thought I'd beg. I packed. He thought I'd adjust. I exited. He thought I needed him. I proved I didn't. Months later, I ran into him by accident downtown. He looked thinner. Not broken, just recalibrated. We made polite conversation, surface level. He said he'd learned a lot. I believe him. Consequences are excellent teachers. Before we parted, he said something that stuck with me. I didn't realize how much you were holding together. That sentence told me everything. He never saw my value while I was providing it, only after it was gone. And that's the quiet truth no one talks about. Some people don't respect boundaries until they crash into them. Some people don't understand stability until it disappears. Some people only recognize leverage after it's no longer theirs. I didn't destroy his life. I removed myself from it. What collapsed after that wasn't revenge. It was gravity. You can't build a future on the assumption that someone will always absorb the weight. Eventually, they step aside. And when they do, everything lands where it was always meant to. On you. He told me to move out if I didn't like it. I liked myself more. So I left.